Hey, what's up everyone? Dragon back again with
Ashley.
and we're doing yet another trailer reaction. This one is for The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. This is a prequel to the original film done by the Jim Henson Company. Classic movie in terms of high fantasy 80s. It's up there with like the never-ending story.
Jim Henson, man.
Jim Henson. In terms when it comes to practical effects, I mean, this movie is probably to practical effects what like Avatar was to like CGI, in the sense that they never look as good as they did in like this movie. But anyway, yeah, so they've been talking about doing a sequel, prequel for years. I remember first hearing about this, I think like in 98 or 99. And there's a comic book series. I think there was also like a graphic novel, but we were looking for something.
Technically, those are the same thing.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, yeah, I know. But like in terms of something on screen,
Yeah.
we've been hearing, and it just nothing ever came to fruition. But apparently now all that's changed. So without further ado, let's check it out. Boom.
Netflix.
Hey.
Already got some gorgeous sets.
Old thrives of resurface. The darkening corrupts everything it touches.
What is darkening?
Behold.
Oh, it's a series? That was a movie.
Wow, that's soon. 2 months?
Many endings lay before us. Some good, most bad.
There they are.
Jesus.
No one.
Oh,
Just remember the part of the chamber that was like, please, please. We actually did a fantasy commentary for that, so you guys be sure to check that out for the original film. It looks really cool. Like
there's so much puppetry in it. I love it.
although I will say, and this, I understand when I say this, know that this is not a dig at this whatsoever. I'm super excited for this. I love what I'm seeing. But I think the movie actually looks better, which is not a dig to this, but it is a testament and a compliment to how impressive what they did in that film, which is like over like 30 years old.
I mean, yes and no. I think it's because things like the big, and what was her name? Ogre or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, her, like, big
chamber, like her observatory, kind of all the planets were lining it.
Like, obviously I think it looked better because it was physically there in the first movie, and I think because we know what that looks like in our heads when we see it in CG, it's
was that? I thought that was physical. Was it CG?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. It looks CG to me.
Oh, I mean, I thought it was all a physical prop.
Well, that diffuses my whole point, I guess.
Again,
but
then
I think it's just little things like that when you see stuff that you've seen before in the movie. And CG is a little weird, but like in terms of like the puppets, the movement, the background.
Oh yeah. No, the puppets are amazing. I mean, you could make the argument too that this is old, technically from a younger age, so, or an older time. So maybe a lot of the stuff we were seeing in the film was already older, so it had more of a wear. Because I was even saying,
True.
the Skeksis look a little cleaner and smoother, but I'm also at the same time, they're younger in this movie too, so they're not going to look
it
as...
looks like this is when they're probably making the weird soul sucky essence-y.
Even the crystal didn't look like...
I don't know what this is. I guess that's them pulling the lever.
Yeah. Even the crystal itself didn't look as detailed, but again, it might be that it's not as old yet. So some of these things that I'm pointing out might actually be purposely done because they have to make this look like this is thousands of years before
Hundreds
the
or thousands. I can't remember. I think it was hundreds.
long time before the movie. So when we see it in the movie, it's more everything's more aged, more weathered. Whereas here,
it's so nice to see all the puppets.
So many physical.
Yeah,
and some of the digital stuff that we saw was actually integrated, I thought, pretty well.
Yeah, it looks like on the close-ups of the eyes and stuff, they're just enhancing it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
But
which is fine because
I think it's good to enhance it, if anything, but not just to fully do it.
I mean,
stuff they can,
Yeah. Well, again, I think you can't make a genre film like this now or series without some kind of CGI. It's just a part of the filmmaking landscape. But,
and technically, this would be way more expensive to do it this way than it would be if they did it all CG.
But when you're making something that you are making a conscious effort to be predominantly practical effects, this is how you use CGI. Just to kind of enhance or kind of tie little elements together, make it a little bit more...
Integrate them.
Yeah, like there's no like huge digital set piece, but it's just kind of sprinkled in here and there. Again, add a little bit more movement to the eyes, add some more flexibility to
or some of the far shots on the puppets and stuff look like they were some CG, but again,
kind of
it's stuff that they could do easier now that way than what they used to do, where they put a kid in a suit or composite it,
Yeah, basically how you have to do a lot of blue screen work back then. You would now just make it more of a digital composition. It's more of a seamless blend.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like this would it make Jim Henson proud. As lame as that is to say.
No, it's absolutely...
It looks so good.
I'm not gonna lie though, I miss the matte paintings. I mean, this looks more seamless, but I've always said to matte paintings were such a work of art that I was, even though you could tell it was a matte painting.
Not always,
but a lot. Even there, you could tell when they have, but there was something so kind of, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing because you knew someone painted that, but that's neither here nor there.
It's more of a you thing.
Yeah,
maybe not. But
I don't know. Again, it looks very...
based.
The only thing, if I had to say anything based on what I'm seeing, and this could be just this trailer, is that one of the other elements I liked about the Dark Crystal was it had in terms of the cinematography, a lot of stuff was very kind of dark. I mean, again, there was stuff in daylight, but there was also kind of a darker feel to it. This feels a little bit more...
But I think that's also partly just from them shooting on film.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Whenever you shoot on film, it naturally has a darker, more kind of...
But it also kind of makes sense because in the movie, that was, hundreds of years later.
It was a darker age.
Yeah.
It was after the fall.
Because of the fall, it was a dark age.
This was a happier, brighter time, basically.
It's story-wise makes sense. So
yeah. Realistically, it's because they're shooting on digital and not film, but we'll tell ourselves.
I mean, they could make it look darker.
Well, that's the thing. When you shoot digitally, we're getting to film tech stuff now, but when you shoot digitally, you then have to go in and alter the film to create that darker quality, whereas on film it was a bit more natural just because you're literally printing the image on an actual piece of film, so there's a physical... Whereas digital, it's a little bit brighter, it's more clean, it's more crisp. Same thing when you record music, for instance, versus if you record on tape versus digital. Analog, it has more of a warmer sound to it. But like I said, that's just, whatever.
I don't know. It looks awesome. It's awesome that it's a series. I hope it's going to be not like a 6-episode thing. I mean, I understand if it is shorter because...
But even if it is, that'd still almost be like a long movie.
Yeah,
really think about it.
I always want more. I always want more.
Yeah. No, this looks really, really good. I don't want you guys to think
am.
that me saying some of the stuff is me nitpicking. Even though it sounds
Yeah,
basically. No, people, no one is... I am extremely stoked for this. I've been waiting for this, for anything like this for a long time.
I love The Dark Crystal. It's one of my favorite 80s movies.
Well, again,
fantasy movies.
Yeah, I mean the 80s had so many great high fantasy. I feel like after that, a lot of fantasy became more urban fantasy, which I enjoy. But I feel like, with the exception of like the Lord of the Rings movies, there really wasn't a lot of high fantasy films anymore. I mean, it was more like Harry Potter or Hellboy, which again I love, but it's kind of fantasy embedded in our world, kind of, as opposed to like it's a magical world somewhere else.
Dude, I'm still, in terms of urban fantasy, I'm still waiting on my good Dresden Files. Netflix.
Right. Well, hey, if stuff like this does very well. AKA everyone watches and gives like a little thumbs up thing.
It looks so good. Like I wasn't like nervous about it, but like it's exceeding my expectations with how it looks.
Well, whenever someone adapts or brings back something that is so not just beloved, but just so ingrained in pop culture, but only ingrained by the one thing. Really, again, I know there's comics and things, but when people
ultimately,
think
most people know the movie.
It's the movie, and it was like a series of movies, or it was just that movie. So the idea of seeing something, on screen of the Dark Crystal, other than that movie, is very like.
And it's going to be neat to see like all the Gelflings.
all the Gelflings, the different. Yeah.
Also, see, I'm curious if this is gonna be like a one-off series, or if it's gonna be like they're hoping to get multiple seasons out of it. Obviously, we'll know when we watch it. But like, because
where it leaves
theoretically,
off,
otherwise, we're gonna see all the Gelflings fucking eat it.
Well, yeah, because that was the thing. There was a war between.
Spoilers if you haven't watched the movie. Sorry, but
yeah, I mean, there's a reason why there's 2 Gelflings in the movie. But yeah, no, again, it depends where they leave it off, really. But at the same time, I also wouldn't mind if they don't want to just drag this out.
Yeah, same. I don't want them to do it,
I mean, The Dark Crystal created such an amazing legacy in its one movie. So I feel like even if it's just like a 6-part series, which is like a mini series basically. I mean, look at like Stranger Things. I think the first season was like, what, 6, 7 episodes?
Was it?
It was
short. They were at least 10.
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
The season 2 was like 10, but it basically felt like a longer movie.
Yeah.
It was longer where it got to do more than a movie did, but not so long where they have to do like, the filler episodes in the middle of the season that a lot of series kind of fall into. So I almost feel like, yes, we'll always want more, but I think a good series or film leaves you wanting more. But as long as there's a sense of completion, you don't feel like you're being gypped, basically.
Yes. Sorry, I'm a child. Out of context. That was hilarious, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyway. It looks amazing. I am very excited to binge watch it on August 30th.
Yeah, we're probably gonna binge watch in like a day. Like, we'll just watch a couple episodes, like 3 in the morning.
That's what happens. That's what happened in Stranger Things.
We'll just watch an episode, see how we like it. Like what, 7-8 hours later, we loved it. Anyway, but yeah, so The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. What do you guys
Ironically, I was gonna say go watch the movie, but I guess if you haven't seen it, maybe wait until this, because it's a prequel.
Yeah. Again, the movie's just awesome.
And then watch this, and then watch the movie again.
Yeah, so depending on when you watch this trailer, if you watch it like just before the series comes out, watch the series, and because it's on Netflix, you don't have to like wait every week for an episode. It just comes out, and then you can go and like see the sequel technically, which is the 35-year-old movie. Have you guys seen the movie? What do you think of the movie? How do you feel about them kind of doing a new story in the world of the Dark Crystal? Are you guys excited about it? Are you worried about it? Did this trailer alleviate fears, or did it, solidify some for you? And if you guys are completely new to the Dark Crystal, have never seen it, or maybe you've never even heard of it, what do you think? Because this would, I guess, be your first introduction to the Dark Crystal.
I am really curious to see how, I don't want to sound old, but how the younger generation, what they think of it, because it is puppets, and everything now is almost CG. So I'm really curious to see how, people react to it.
Some of you younger guys, there was an age where there was no CG and everything was practical. A movie like The Dark Crystal would have been like The Avengers in terms of special effects. That was a high special effects movie in the day, and everything is physically there in camera. So how do you guys feel? Is it weird for you guys to see a movie where there is no digital work whatsoever? I mean, it looks like the series is going to have, again, a little bit, but the idea of seeing a film at the very least, or a series which is predominantly practical in-camera effects with very little touches of CGI here and there, just kind of where they need to. Anyway, give us some of your thoughts. Let us know what you think. And as always, we will catch you in the next one. Peace!
Peace.